A woman does everything she can to give her little brother second chance at a better life, even if it means selling herself. Lola's mother used to tell her that going to church would make her a good person. However, she isn't convinced by this, as she believes that everyone needs a reason to be good. One day, she dons her makeup and takes some substances before going to work as a dancer in a club. While she works, her mother, Mona, is passed out on the couch with her boyfriend, Trick. When she arrives home, Lola hides her money in her dresser before going to sleep next to her brother, Arlo. At dawn, Lola tenderly rouses her sibling and proposes to whip up some breakfast for him. As she prepares the meal, Trick, too, demands a share, causing Lola to scowl. She disregards him and lays out a plate of scrambled eggs for her brother, vowing to accompany him for a swim later. Once she departs, Trick pilfers a portion of Arlo's breakfast. Nonetheless, Arlo expresses gratitude to the divine for his nourishment prior to eating. Lola embarks on a journey with her confidant, Babina, as they set off for their workplace. Lola spends her day as a sales clerk at a supermarket alongside Babina. Amid their cashier duties, her beau Malachi loiters by a stall, proposing to keep the change abandoned by a shopper. He subsequently hands Lola some contraband, conditioning it on her declaration of love. Reluctantly, Lola complies, and her partner relinquishes the desired items. Concurrently, Mona educates Arlo at home, evidently frustrated with his academic pace. When ennui strikes, she departs, not without instructing her son to purchase cigarettes for her. As Arlo walks the dog for the errand, Lola secludes herself in the store's restroom to peruse a magazine. Therein, she spots an ad for a children's art academy, pocketing the page with hopes of enrolling her brother. Malachi then appears to indulge in illicit substances with Lola. Post-work, she fulfills her promise to take Arlo for a swim. Lola invests her days with her pal and beau, pushing herself to perform at a nightclub for extra income. One night, Mona confronts her at 3 a.m., inquiring about her nocturnal escapades. Lola evades, but Mona cautions her, noting the omnipresent gaze of the Almighty. Mona perceives Lola's deviation from faith as a slide into sin, resigning to her daughter's supposed moral decline, but imploring her not to influence Arlo adversely. Lola staunchly denies any harm to her brother, countering her mother's accusations. In response, Mona laments her ex-husband's departure without taking Lola, echoing a deep familial rift. The next day, Lola shoplifts at the same store she works at. Meanwhile, her mother puts on heavy makeup and her best clothes while listening to religious preaching over the radio. The woman then attends a Bible study, where she provides snacks for the attendees. Among them is Nancy, who asks about her children. She invites Arlo for a sleepover with her son, but Mona excuses that her son is busy with his studies. The mother then insists that homeschooling is better since public schools focus more on science than life lessons. She believes that homeschooled kids become smarter because of this. Nancy merely shrugs at this claim, noting that her son wouldn't be a baseball star if he was homeschooled. She then boasts that boys will be boys, which Mona frowns at. The woman even mentions that her entire family will be attending the study, so she wonders if Mona's boyfriend will join them too. Mona excuses that Trick is busy with his business, and Nancy just nods along, barely hiding her doubts. That night, Arlo asks his sister to use makeup on him since he wants to look like her. Lola gives in to his request and bonds with her brother. Soon, however, Mona finds them and berates her son for using makeup. She blames her daughter for this and smothers Arlo's face with a towel to wipe the makeup off. This scares Arlo, so he runs off. Lola threatens her mother from treating her brother that way, but Mona snaps back that her daughter's leading her son to sin. Later, Lola assures her brother that he didn't do anything wrong. She also promises that God still loves him, claiming that she speaks to him. The woman then helps Arlo go to sleep, promising that she'll get them out of their mother's home soon. After her brother sleeps, Lola heads to work at the club with a heavy heart. Wanting to move out with her brother faster, Lola asks her coworker Dee how to earn more. Dee advises her to take clients to the back room, which Lola hasn't done before. The idea scares Lola, so Dee assures her that as long as she does what the client wants, she'll make money. With much hesitation, Lola entertains a customer in one of the private rooms. She complies with his commands and even removes her blouse. To her luck, things don't go too far, so she takes his money and leaves. Still, Lola feels anxious about the encounter, so she uses some medicine to calm down in the dressing room before heading back out to dance on stage. On another day, a solemn Lola smokes with Malachi outside the grocery store. He worries if she should return before the manager catches her. The woman disregards this, So her boyfriend reminds her that she still needs the money for the art school she wants to enroll Arlo in. Reminded of her goal, Lola asks for stimulants to keep going, which Moi Lixi happily provides for her. She then reveals that the school is out of town, and this dampens her boyfriend's mood since they'll be apart. Still, he understands why she is doing this, so he just promises to visit her there as often as he can. When she arrives home, Lola hears Mona hitting Arlo for liking girly things. The woman defends her brother, and even threatens her mother's life if she hurts him again. Learning about what happened, Babine offers to let Lola and Arlo stay at her place the next day. Moi Lixi also buys food for his girlfriend's brother, showing his support for them. That night, Arlo bonds with Babine's mother Pearl, who's happy to have the kid around. Meanwhile, Moi Lixi comforts Lola, though when she doesn't respond much to his touch. He admits that her lack of affection for him makes him feel guilty. The woman points out that he cheated on her once, and this prompts the man to leave, not wanting to argue. The following morning, Babina and Lola head to work while Pearl and Arlo complete a jigsaw puzzle. During work, Lola shoplifts again, and though Babina sees her doing it, she just warns her friend to be careful. Later, however, her shoplifting gets her fired since another staff member reported her. That afternoon, Arlo cooks lunch for him and Pearl. The woman is impressed by this, so he tells her that his sister taught him how to cook, adding that Lola is his best friend. Later, Mona calls Pearl, knowing that her children are staying at her home. She asks the woman to tell her kids to come home, promising that their fight was all a misunderstanding. After work, Babina drives Lola back home, but she remains silent on the way, pissed at how her friend got herself fired. They arrive home and find Moi Lixi waiting for his girlfriend, but Lola refuses to talk to him. Still, the man begs her to reconcile, noting that they're good together even if they don't sleep with each other. However, Lola thinks that all he cares about is physical intimacy, stressing that she refuses to have her first experience with someone who will do it with anyone. Moi Lixi argues that she dances for money, yet she refuses to sleep with her own boyfriend. Lola points out that she only dances on stage, so Moi Lixi relents and just promises not to be disloyal to her again. Unconvinced, Lola goes inside to prepare for her night shift. At the club, Didi alerts Lola that her mother is there to see her. With no choice, the woman goes out to meet Mona. The mother accuses her of kidnapping her son, asserting that she's not good enough to raise him. Without even letting Lola speak, she then walks off.
Lola is haunted by the harsh words, compelling her to request Didi to substitute for her so she can return early and tend to her brother. The subsequent morning, Arlo expresses his longing for their family pet, prompting Lola to stealthily make her way home that night. She heads to her bedroom to gather some belongings, but is confronted by Trick, who seizes the opportunity to exploit her, leaving her in tears after a traumatic ordeal. Distraught, she retreats to Babina's, collapsing in a closet. Once composed, she reassures Arlo that she has retrieved their dog. Later, Lola seeks Malachi for narcotics, but he denies her request. In desperation, she proposes to exchange favors for the drugs, which Malachi sternly declines, handing over the drugs, but declaring their relationship terminated. Lola then relies on the drugs to endure her nightclub shift amidst her unraveling life. The next day, Arlo attempts to uplift her spirits by adorning her with stickers, celebrating his guardian angel's birthday. Babina inquires about their plans, leading to a diner breakfast of waffles for the group. Meanwhile, Lola schedules an educational appointment for Arlo. That afternoon, while Lola is at the club, Mona retrieves Arlo from Babina's, forcibly altering his appearance to reinforce his role as her obedient son. Confronted with his new reflection, an overwhelmed Arlo flees, resulting in a tragic accident. Unaware of this, Lola takes a customer to one of the private rooms to offer her services. Having surrendered her reservations about her body after her experience with Trick, she also assures herself that this is for her brother's future. After the deed, however, she receives a call, revealing the horrible events that happened. Soon, Lola's in the hospital shell, shocked over what happened to her brother. When Mona arrives, she quickly blames her daughter for Arlo's death. The woman's too ridden with guilt to argue otherwise. After Trick takes the grieving mother away, Lola breaks down before her brother's body. Unable to take it, she hurriedly uses medication upon arriving at Babina's home. However, this isn't enough to take the pain away. The next morning, Her best friend tries to comfort her, but Lola notices that Malachi hasn't checked in on her yet. Sympathizing with her, Babina promises to call him. Soon enough, Malachi visits, but Lola only wants substances from him. He advises against this, noting that it's destroying her. Instead, he wants to be with her while she's mourning. However, Lola refuses to grieve and just tells him to get out. She screams at him, but Malachi puts her in his arms, where the woman breaks down in tears. The two end up spending the night together, but only for Malachi to make sure that she's okay. Eventually, Lola gets sick, so she takes a test and learns that she's expecting a child. This horrifies her, as there's only one man who could be the father. She shares this with Babina that evening, and her friend promises to help her out. However, Lola refuses to raise her child in their town. Worried, Babina asks her to promise to stay clean if she's going to have a kid. With hesitation, Lola nods. Days later, Malachi picks up Lola for her to attend a support group, making good on her promise to Babina. As months pass, her relationship with Malachi blossoms as he supports her throughout her pregnancy. Babina also helps prepare her for childbirth, though she's sad that Lola plans to leave town before her baby comes. Due to her condition, she's now waitressing at the club, which works out since the customers are treating her with more respect. Dee also admires her for going through with carrying her child, noting that she had her chance before but couldn't continue with it. To help her make ends meet, Babina also gets her job back at the grocery store, and things start looking more hopeful for Lola. Still, she wonders about her mother, so one day she asks if her friend has seen Mona lately. Babina says she does at church, making Lola wonder if Mona prays for her. 6 months into her pregnancy, the counselor of her support group encourages her to start sharing during their session. Lola is apprehensive about this, and the woman empathizes with her, noting that she also felt hesitant in her first few months. She considers this the next day, though her thoughts are diverted when Mona visits the store. This is the first time her mother has seen her pregnant, so she mocks her by assuming that Lola doesn't know who the father is. Lola is appalled by her mother's words, calling her a horrible person. Mona just shrugs this off, so her daughter finally decides to reveal that Trick is the father. This anger rages Mona, yet what angers her more is that she should have been the one carrying Trick's child. Lola is in disbelief that her own mother doesn't care about what her boyfriend did to her, so she tells Mona that at least she would ensure that her kid will feel loved. With a smile, Mona claims that she promised the same thing when she was pregnant with Lola, so she spitefully tells her good luck before leaving. After the woman leaves, Babina comforts her friend, who decides never to see her mother again. During her shift at the club, Dee and the other dancers offer to share their tips with her, which Lola greatly appreciates. Her friend then wonders what she'll name her daughter, but Lola hasn't decided yet. Dee then shares that she wants to have a daughter named Claudia. She also assures her that Lola will get through this, and the woman agrees, adding that it's easier to survive when there's someone she's doing it for. During her final session with the support group, Lola bares her soul to her peers. She confesses her lifelong absence of maternal affection and vows not to replicate Mona's mistakes with her own child. Overwhelmed with emotion, she bids a heartfelt farewell to Malachi and Babina, acknowledging her indebtedness to her friend for her unwavering support. As she sets off, leaving her old life in the rear view, Lola reaffirms her belief that no one is inherently destined for helplessness or trouble. She recognizes her evolution as a product of both nurturing friendships and challenging adversities, understanding that she holds the reins to her own narrative, shaping her joy and struggles. In a tender moment, Lola observes her daughter enjoying a carousel ride with Malachi at their side, reveling in the fresh chapter they are writing together. Embraced by this new beginning, Lola embraces her right to a second chance at life and the opportunity to provide a brighter future for her child.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.